So today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make my brown butter bites, which was something that I came up with when I first started my ketogenic lifestyle. I was doing an elimination diet to try and fix my gut and try and get to the bottom of why I was getting so bloated and in so much pain and reacting to so many different foods. And when you start with a low carb lifestyle, or you go ketogenic or paleo ketogenic, sometimes the cravings at the beginning are really quite unbearable. So I needed something for those times when a craving hit, and that would normally be the time I'd fall off the wagon and eat something sweet. I've just put that butter into there. That's organic butter. It's just on a low heat. I'm going to put that splatter guard over it because it does get very lively. It's kind of like the same method that you making ghee, in that you're taking the water out of the butter. Yeah, so what I found was when a sweet craving hits, it sometimes just completely gets rid of it if you have something fatty. But you know, the advice was, oh, just eat some beef tallow. Well, I tried that, and for me, beef tallow is not an enjoyable experience. It certainly wasn't something that was going to make me want to eat a bowl of cherries or some chocolate any less. But these little guys just absolutely did fill the gap. So what I'm going to do is melt the butter, and then I'm going to gently brown it, and I'm going to come back to you in a moment and show you how that process is going. So that's now been browning for about 10 minutes, and I can show it to you there. It's completely changed. It's gone clear and all the brown bits have gone to the bottom. You have to watch it. You don't want to burn it. So those brown crumbs at the bottom are the proteins and the sugars from the butter, which have caramelized. So you can just see that there. And so now I'm going to just pop in a couple of spices. So there's some cinnamon and also some ginger, because I love those two together. That's made the whole butter go brown, because of course the cinnamon and ginger is cooking in that boiling oil. There we go, so now it looks like that, but again I stress it's not burnt, it's just browned. And then I'm going to put a little bit of salt into that. That's delicious salty taste. Now if you're still eating sweeteners, you can, it's obviously your choice, you can add something like erythritol or stevia or monk fruit sweetener. All three of those have been shown not to spike blood sugar, not to raise your glucose levels. However, it is to be noted that in some people, whilst stevia has been scientifically proven not to raise blood sugar levels, in some people it does, and they reckon it's to do with your microbiome and how well your microbiome copes or doesn't cope with foods, depending on how depleted it is. So think of it like a garden, and if your garden has been destroyed over the years by taking too many antibiotics and being on the birth control pill for donkey's years, all of that will disrupt or destroy your microbiome, and you have to work to improve the state of your gut. And so if you're in the early days of your health journey, and you find when you test with a blood either a finger prick test or a blood glucose monitor, you see that those sweeteners do raise your blood sugar level, then perhaps best to avoid them. And also, you know, this is a fat bomb. This is meant to just take away a craving. It's not meant to give you a sweet taste, because even if those sweeteners are deemed to be safe and they're not going to cause addiction problems, they do still give you the sweet taste. They do still continue that sweet thought in your head that you really are trying to get rid of. So If you can avoid them, that's better. So literally you're going to take that melted butter that has caramelized and just pour it into an ice cube tray. And the trick here is to not pour it all over the counter like I just did. And also you want some of those brown crumbs into every little square. And then all we're going to do with that after I finish emptying out all of those and making this mess of my counter is I'm going to pop it in the freezer, and then I will show you once it's frozen how good they look. You can keep them in the freezer because of course butter doesn't it's being such a high fat content, it doesn't really freeze, so you can take them straight out of the freezer and eat them out of the freezer without having to. It's not like ice cream where you can't chew it up. It comes out and it's immediately delicious. So there we go. And I'm going to put that in the freezer, and I'll come back to you and show you what it then looks like when it's ready. So after you've frozen them and they've set nice and solid, like they look like that, I took these out of the freezer a couple of minutes ago, so they should just, she says, neatly pop out of the ice cube tray. But they're not going to. Apparently the expression is never work with children, animals or food, because it never behaves the way you want it to when you're videoing it. But there you can see. I'm just going to bring those up closer to the camera. That's what they look like. They are really delicious. And if you are at the beginning of a fasting lifestyle or a low carb lifestyle where you're really struggling to stop those addictive foods that have ruled your life up until now, if you were anything like I was, these are absolutely perfect. You can just have one of these when you really need something sweet or something delicious and creamy, and it will get you through. Thanks for watching.